Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Nurjana D. Adir, 4th reporter from Group 5. So, ang topic ko is Foundation of Malik Bennabi's Political Thought. So, let's start. The issue of the Bennabi's political thought can be first approached by investigating the main premises of his political theorization. Returning to the broad ideas of Bennabi concerning colonizability and the transformation of man, one can underscore the departing point of his political analysis. In order to understand the position, it is necessary to accept the insistence on the issue of colonizability and the issue of the transformation of man has two important steps towards achieving a balanced political system. So, by looking into the key tenets of his political theorization, the question of Bennabi's political thought foundation can first be explored. So, regarding colonizability and the change of man, Bennabi's broad concept might be revisited to highlight the political analysis. Bennabi's clearest and most important conceptual basis is articulated. So, when action is required, the political methodology continues to hide the true nature of the issues from Muslim consciousness, decrying colonialism instead of colonizability, without making any genuine attempts to improve the lot of man. So, accepting his argument that the issue of colonizability and the transformation of man are crucial milestones in the direction of a just political system is vital in order to comprehend his perspective. In actuality, the prior quotation makes it obvious where Bennabi's examination of current political ideology in which Muslim world stop and begins in this regards. So, we have 7 important aspects of the political system in foundation of Malik Bennabi's political thought. So, we have political system and the problem of politic, duty, right-oriented political system, ethical foundation of the political system, culture and politics, politics and cooperation between state and society, political system and social relation network, politics, democracy, and Islam. So, ang itatakod lang natin dito is 1 to 4. So, from political system and the problem of politic to culture and politics. So, let's start in number 1, which is political system and the problem of politic. So, to commence with, Bennabi argues that any political system which ignores the pattern of human association will only give birth to a state that depends on emotions and sentiments in running the affairs of its citizens. So therefore, one should differentiate between a genuine political system which is based on the norms of human association and rests on moral principle, and a bankrupt political system which is mere fabrication and disfiguration of the real image of politics. But this latter kind of political system is considered as a mere mean for personal gain and demagogic and ideological practice. It is based on emotions and tends to deconstruct the moral edifice of the meaningful political system. So, in Bennabi's contends that only political structure that disregards the patterns of human interaction can only result in a dependent condition on feelings and sentiments for managing its inhabitants' affairs. One should make a distinction between a real political system that is builds on moral principles and a foundation based on the standards of human association, a broken political system that is nothing more than fabrication and a disfigurement. This latter type of political system is deemed representative of the real face of politics. As a purely selfish tool for ideological and demagogic purposes, it is motivated by feelings and tends to undermine the moral foundation of the Bennabi. So, Bennabi summarized these two as a meaningful political system. So, accurate guidance derived from the history of human existence. The politic is nothing more than the confounding of the possible and the impossible, as well as the substitution of practical, direct methods with fanciful, inaccessible ones, which ineluctably result in the contradicting psychoses of the difficult and the simple. So Bennabi continues in a broadly similar vein by arguing that for being an applied sociology rather than a simple demagogy, political activity should then imply two postulates to take the politics of its means. So these two postulates imply on the one hand the need for the originality of the political system in its adherence to the foundational norms of the Ummah, and on the other hand the need for two. So let's proceed to the second. So duty right-oriented political system. A second widely discussed issue by Bennabi in his political analysis is the duty right-oriented political system. He debates that any genuine political system should focus on teaching members of the society the way how to perform their duties and carry out their responsibility instead of telling them about their rights. Indeed, a real political system that is born out of the stage of the development of the Muslim world and its present situation, interests, and concerns need to emphasize the precedence and priority of duty over the oriented. So the duty right-oriented political system is a second topic that Bennabi discusses extensively in this political theory. He argues that any true political system should put more emphasis on teaching society members how to carry out their obligations and responsibilities than on informing them of their rights. The precedence and importance of the duty over the right must be emphasized in a true political system that is based on the stage of development of the Muslim world and its current condition, interests, and concerns. So, according to her, a true politics, and Bennabi's opinion, teaches individuals how to carry out their duties and responsibility, while the politic instruct them on the appropriate tone of questioning instead of describing to him how to get them, which could only be the embodiment of his obligations. This discussion leads us to the third major theme of Bennabi's political thought, which is the ethical underpinnings of the political system for the post-Al-Muwahhid society. It is thus less a question of demanding the rights than it is of technically utilizing man soil and time for producing a social synthesis that would automatically engender right and virtue of the indissoluble duality duty right. So let's proceed to the third, which is ethical foundation of political system. According to Bennabi, if a genuine political system stresses the importance of the precedence of duty-oriented politics over right-oriented politics, then ethics become very crucial to any political system. In fact, there is a pivotal relation between the idea of duty-oriented political system and ethics. Likewise, this perspective maintains that the idea of duty right itself carries a moral and ethical value. So according to Bennabi, ethics become extremely important to the political if it emphasizes the significance of giving duty-oriented politics priority over right-oriented politics. So there is a crucial connection between ethics and the notion of political system that is duty-oriented. This view also holds that the concept of duty and right itself contains moral and ethical weight. As a result, according to Bennabi, the political standard do not fail or succeed only because of the relationship between the political reality and the ethical values. The political system, which basically relies on asking about the rights and undermining, reforming the duties, is not clearly and intentionally according to an ethical value system. So, therefore, it is related to the field of metaphysics. So, as a summary of Bennabi asserts that politics without ethics opens the road for the collapse of the Ummah. In this conclusion to his research of the true political system. And now let's proceed to my last topic, which is the number 4, culture and politics. If another pivotal instance, Bennabi makes a link between political system and the issue of culture. He is of the view that any political system that is duty-oriented and ethically based calls for the existence of a dynamic cultural system. So another crucial occurrence is when Bennabi connects the political system to the problem of culture. According to him, every morally and duty-driven political system necessitates the existence of vibrant cultural system in order to achieve the consistency between an individual's interests and those of his or her society. Bennabi defines culture as the process of orienting the individual energies toward achieving the local construction of the individual with regard to his or her interests, as well as achieving his or her position and role in the society. This line of demarcation across culture has both a learning and an ethical component. So both those of the individual and society or the state, because he is the conscious agent and element that directs the social energies. Bennabi contends that the reconciliation and integration between culture and politics is feasible through the individual. So this is the end of my topic. So the other 3 important aspects of the political system is present by the next reporter. So that's all. Shukran.